Hello everyone and welcome to State of the Realm. We are fresh off the latest patch 6.4, and we're just going to be giving general first impressions here. Keep in mind this is not a spoiler-free show. We're not going to be doing any deep dives or anything, but we're also not going to withhold ourselves in any way because the majority of the content on the patch release is story content. So unless you want the show to be 5 minutes long, then that's what we're going to talk about. Anyway, I'm one of your hosts, Mr. Happy, and of course joining me fresh off his 19-hour crafting adventure is Sly. How you doing, Sly?
I'm doing great. I'm doing amazing.
What day is it, Sly?
Monday. It's a day that ends in day.
It's a day that ends in day. Those are my favorite ones. I especially like the ones that end only in Y. Those are my favorite days.
Oh, yeah. Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah. Those are my favorites.
Yeah. They're also my least favorites, ironically enough, but it just depends.
Oh.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It depends on, the mood. It just depends. All right. Yeah.
How are you?
I'm doing good. I'm just I'm on a content crunch and I don't know what sleep is right now.
My mods had to bully me to sleep. They really did, because people just kept coming on Tuesday to get sets, and I'm like, okay, I got you. And one of my mods literally had to bully me to go the fuck to sleep. I'm like, okay, after this one, let me just do this last weapon and I'll go to sleep. And I did.
Sooner or later.
Yeah.
Later by the sounds of it.
Yeah.
A little bit.
Wait later.
Yeah. So for me, it was just doing videos all week because for some reason, they decided to let me talk about 16 on Monday, then put out a patch on Tuesday, then put out interviews all day Monday and Tuesday, and then put out a PlayStation showcase with a new 16 trailer on Wednesday, and then I got Savage on Tuesday, and I'm going to LA next month for the freaking thing, so I'm trying to do this, that. That's where I'm at right now.
Yeah.
So I just pop a couple melatonin. And then just let the universe take me for a few hours.
Oh, my shit was all natural. Once I finished stream, I just died. I just
At least you
died.
waited till stream was finished.
Yeah. By the way, thank you all so much for coming out to Sly's 19-hour drive-through pawn and gun alchemical adult give bait tackle discount cigarette outlet for all your crafting needs. We really appreciate you. And the funny thing is people actually are like, yeah, your ad on State of the Realm. That's why I came. Yeah, fuck yeah, let's go.
That was the most southern sounding shop and store I've ever heard in my life. That's some fresh out the South shit right there. I like that.
Yeah.
Damn right. All right. Well, we got a patch to talk about, not just crafting and not just not sleeping and not just Final Fantasy 16, though I'm perfectly okay to talk about that. Now I am.
Yeah, you are.
Yeah, thank God, finally. But let's do the, you got to do the intro, I guess. So it's thanks to the sponsors. And I got Steel Series, and they got the discount code. You got Advanced GG with the discount code. You got our sponsors over on Patreon for support. They don't have to. They choose to. All of our stuff's free on YouTube or on whatever podcasting thing that you use. So it's uploaded there too. SoundCloud, all that good stuff. So enjoy it however you will. And thanks for watching, and thanks for sponsoring over on Patreon. Good. Yeah. But with that, we got a patch. I actually don't think this will be a 2-hour show. I think we beat this topic to death every time there's a new patch nowadays. The division of content means the majority of people kind of finish their to-do checklist within the first couple of days. Maybe not, but a lot of people have.
Yeah.
And you literally had a content-free day one checklist. So have you caught up and done any of the other stuff?
The only thing I haven't done yet is Satoru. That's the last thing I have to do.
Do that. I did.
Yeah.
Oh, I learned an interesting thing. I didn't have to do the 0.3 quest to do the 0.4 quest. They were not sequential. It gave me both options at the NPC. So it did say when we went over the live letter that it only named the first quest for Tataru as required, but I figured that was just a way of saying do the quests. I did do the 0.3
So you
quest.
didn't have... Oh, okay. So
I didn't have to do it though. I could have done the 0.4 quest, then the 0.3 quest.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Cool.
So, but I did both of them, and the 0.3 quest was hilarious.
So what I'm guessing is going to happen is that you will have to do 0.3 and 0.4 for the finale in 6.5.
Yeah, I can't see it going any other way.
Like.
Yeah. But okay, then that I let me knock that out real quick so I can give you a spoiler-free review. It's exactly what you want it to be, is how I would describe it.
Fair.
Yeah.
Fair.
It was my favorite of the batch, which I expected, but it's good to know that it was. Although honestly, 0.3 is going back and finally doing that, and I have no qualms talking about that. That shit was hilarious. that was like a Hildebrand quest practically when it came to the Four Lords.
Yeah.
I wasn't ready for extra horny Suzaku and the murder man Seiryu nearly as much as I thought. Ah, yes, I am the child of Suzaku and Tenzin. Let him continue.
Let him cook.
She was cracker. She was my favorite part of the whole quest. Not just because of that. She was generally like the best part of the quests. Suzaku.
Yeah.
Oh man. So yeah, go do your Tataru quests and brace yourselves for all of them, but especially for 0.4. Or if you'd like a spoiler, go to my Twitter and click on the spoiler tag and just look, because I posted stuff on it. So that being said, now that we've gotten that part out of the way, overall impression on what you've had time to do in 6.4 before we go into any specifics, because there is a lot of story-related stuff to talk about, and everyone has been kind of in different categories still with how they feel about the post-Endwalker story and everything.
Yeah. Again, with regard to story, because I did story and raid story. Again, if you're a fan of fucking 4, you're a fan of this fucking story, man. Holy shit. Like overall in regards to the content, like another solid patch. I can't stress it enough that like all these patches have been really solid. It's just the aftermath that comes with it that you find the problems with it. And go ahead.
There's also been one technical issue in every patch, and we have 2 overlapping right now that's not feeling very great. The patch brought with it some audio issues for borderless windowed and full screen users.
Ooh, yep, I did experience that once.
There's the ongoing issue with the AT&T node. So those are patchly problems, which has been Endwalker. 6.1 had the housing, the you rolled a 0 problem, or the game rolled a 0 and nobody won the house problem. 0.2 had the Abyssos overtune. 0.3 had what was 0.3's? It wasn't just the top drama. There was something else that happened in 0.3 that I've forgotten. Just top drama. There was definitely something. I mean, it's third party drama, I guess would be the better way to put it. Oh, I mean, yeah, relics, but that's not what I was referring to. No, mudras. That's the one. Ninja mudras. That is the one. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, we had our ninja in Prague was very, very distraught with the mudra problems throughout week 1. Yeah. So there's that. And then 0.4 now has the audio bug. So yeah, we've had an issue every patch. It's just that it doesn't change that what we're getting is good, but it sucks that every single patch has been mired down by something.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, and I'm largely in the same. I felt the quality of things was generally a lot higher. The story, and that kind of makes sense. It's the finale of Pandemonium. It's kind of the climax of 0.4, like getting close to the climax of the post Endwalker story. And one of the most iconic Final Fantasy villains, of course, featuring as a fight is always big for content. And then a lot of the other little, again, Tataru, loved it. You know, I loved the side story quest. It's just everything kind of just hit the right note. And the most important thing, I can't stress this enough, Sly. There was no new ocean fishing point related achievement. And not only that, but I got a fucking adventure plate thing for my they added one for the 3 million. So I got a bonus reward this patch for my 3 million points. And I didn't have to lift a fucking finger.
Feeling good.
Yeah, there's also one for Big Fish and Mahjong. There's new ones for those as well.
Yeah.
Yeah, so big win. Big win for me there. There is, however, a 16,001 trip achievement for Ruby, but it's just for a title. And that's fine for the Ruby title. That's my big win. Okay. So with that.
Good.
Yes. It's just, I needed to get that. I was dreading logging in. So I was looking at it and I'm like, please don't. Please don't. And then I saw the 16,000 point achievement and I was like, oh no, I was right. They are doing achievements for the other path. Please don't let there be a point achievement. Okay, there's not. Okay, good. So with that, is there any topic you'd like to start on in particular?
Real quick, since we are free to do spoilers real quick.
Yeah, free to do spoilers.
Fucking Baron, goddammit. What the what the hell, man? I mean, we got Troya, obviously, first, so like they just go ahead and say, yeah. From this place called Baron, like go ahead and lean into it more, why don't you?
They have to. I mean, it's Final Fantasy IV. Would have been shocking. We also knew from the trailer as well, yeah.
Begs the question. Are the other shards? So we're getting Xanarkin in one of the other shards, right?
Stop. We already have Ronsos on the first. No, we're not getting. There's no Xanarkin.
Yeah, we are.
No Xanarkin, and there's no Blitzball. Stop trying to make it happen.
Yep. I mean,
you literally only brought this up to upset me.
Yeah.
There was no other lean into that. You just wanted to say it.
Yep. Albed's gonna be a tribe, and we're gonna have to, learn the language.
I sure fucking hope we never have to fucking find ciphers. I hope there's no 26-part quest to find fucking ciphers in this game ever. People don't even want to collect the fucking air currents, the ether currents to fly. Imagine needing to find the fucking ciphers all over the place. Ugh. Yeah, that's why they're going to be at Albed relics, and you're going to have to find. That's going to be the book phase, is the ciphers and shit.
Yep.
You're full of bad ideas, and I want you to know that.
It's gonna be fun.
You're full of bad ideas.
They already have these ideas. Like they're cooking.
No, I'm cooking. I'm cooking, Sly. It's me. I'm the one doing it, and you're the one who's putting me over the flame. Might as well just fucking stick a stick in me and start turning.
You got the meats.
Got them. No, I don't. No Arby's. I need something better than Arby's. No. I got better meats than them. Trust me. All right. Well, if that's where you're going to start, then I guess we'll start with the MSQ. And I already knew that Square was largely in touch with their player base. I wasn't aware that they wanted their player base to touch themselves, because that seemed to be the goal of the first 10 to 15 minutes of the MSQ here. Because it was a comedy act and a thirst act all in one in the first 10 to 15 minutes. We go and get some delicious looking hot curry that kills everyone. They're all dead. Every patron at the curry shop is dead. And immediately just shirtless, just sweaty, dripping sweat, doing one-arm push-ups, Estinian, and Zero talking about getting naked. That's it. They know their player base. They know them way too well. And then the social account tweets a picture from a while back of Estinian doing push-ups in a towel. You look very pleased with yourself, Sly.
I'm just mad that he stopped Zero from getting naked.
Everyone's like, Zero, great idea.
Yeah. Varshan's like, no, like, shut the fuck up. Shut the fuck up.
The dragon doesn't even understand. He doesn't understand. He only wears clothes because his little mannequin wears clothes. That's it.
You're always naked. Shut up.
He doesn't care. Oh man. But it was not. It started on a really lighthearted note, which shocked me given the trailer and everything.
Yeah.
But it creates a good distinction between the more serious things that kind of happen pretty much for the rest of it. I mean, it's fairly lighthearted until we actually make it to the 13th again, which is, again, it's a nice dichotomy between what's going on. It doesn't really lose sight of things, but it's still nice that once again, scions that are not together, or let's call this scion and that scion and this scion. And that one, it's like, we're disbanded, right? Like, that was the point of everything.
Right. I mean, it's still kind of feels like that in a way, because I mean, I definitely feel it more with Alphinaud and Alizé than I do Thancred. You call it Thancred, he's here in like a fucking minute. Whereas with Alphinaud and Alizé, they're pretty much still doing their own thing in Tertium. So
yeah, we just keep going
some
there.
scions. Yeah, we keep going there, and they're just there. Like, we have to go see them rather than them coming to us. And with Thancred, again, you just call him; he's just fucking there in a minute. And yeah, I kind of like the interaction between Thancred and Zero. Like, again, Thancred is just Dadcred. He's been Dadcred since fucking Shadowbringers, and he's still Dadcred. And Zero is our little baby. We're kind of nurturing. And their interaction and then the interaction with Euless, which we'll get to in a little while.
Yes.
God damn, that was good. Holy crap. But yeah, like, again, some of my community still fucking hate Zero. I'm like, why? She's baby. She's just baby. That's all. We're just nurturing a baby. We're teaching it.
That's when you look at your chat and you go, come, let us replenish our ether. And look at them with great intensity. We only have moments like that because she's so unfamiliar with the culture and being a person versus being a void sent. So we get a lot.
Right.
Yeah, I find that we get a lot of good moments with Zero. She's been a good addition to the Scions thus far. I'd argue in some capacity, in terms of post-Endwalker characters, I think she's been a better standard addition to the Scions. I guess this is technically post 5.3. She's been a better standard addition to the Scions than G'raha, not because she's a better character, but because G'raha kind of has a character as the Crystal Exarch, but then when he becomes G'raha on the Source, he kind of like steps back from being the Crystal Exarch as much because he's kind of comfortable in his own skin. So he becomes a lot less interesting as an addition to the Scions than he is as the Crystal Exarch when we're over on the first, in my opinion.
Yeah.
And I feel like Zero has been a much more upward trending character. Every time they keep bringing,
she's growing.
Yeah, she's growing. They keep bringing the Scions in because they're trying to like impart some normalcy to her, and we are not the one to do that.
Oh no. I mean, if like again, if anything, Thancred would probably be the most quote unquote normal. He's Dad. So like his fatherly,
like as normal as he can be, yeah.
Right. His fatherly instincts would probably be the most normal to Zero, and that's why Urianger has said, like, you know, maybe you should impart some wisdom and everything. Like, I caught that in.
Yeah. To skip ahead a little bit, Zero does survive this patch, which was against a lot of people's expectations. But chat brings up a great question.
The whole Zeramus thing?
Yeah, the whole Zeramus thing, yeah. But chat brings up another good point in that, do we think she even makes it out of Endwalker? Is she making it past the 0.5 patch is now the big question. Is she a character that will follow us into 7.0?
She's a Scion. She's a Scion.
I'm not convinced. I'm leaning more towards her being gone in 7.0.
Gone as in dead, or gone as in going her own way?
As in dead. As in made the noble sacrifice as like a means of expressing her humanity over being a voice.
You said the same thing about Alphinaud and Alizé getting the palm.
No, but that was because it was Final Fantasy IV references, and it just made too much sense. It would be wrong for me as a Final Fantasy player who has played all the games and played 4 many times to not look at Cagnazzo in Garlemald, where Alphino and Alizé are, and not think they're going to be petrified. Okay, that would be incorrect of me to even say, nah, they wouldn't do. Even if they're going to get, as I didn't say they were going to die, I said they were going to get petrified and probably make it out later.
Yeah.
So, but yeah.
No. I still think she becomes a full-fledged scion, even though we're disbanded.
We'll see. I'm not convinced. I'm 60-40 that she dies. I'm on that side of the fence. But only 60-40, not any more than that, because there's room to keep her.
I'll keep trying to kill off the good ones, man.
I just think she's gonna say, "Oh, this is my expression of my humanity. You know, this is my humanity winning over my void sense side," kind of thing going on. So, you know, that's where I'm at there. So we get through those opening scenes and we get to the point of, hey, we got to go to the 13th, which of course we get to very quickly. We don't get to the 13th quickly, but we get to like how we're going to get to the 13th.
Yeah, we're stuck with Charlie and red tape before we get to the 13th. So we have to go ask them for Aether to get to the 13th. To use the Tower of Zot, but first we need the Aether to use at the Tower of Zot and then
Babel.
Or I'm sorry, Babel.
Yeah.
So we have to go to Charlie and ask them how they did it for the Ragnarok, and then ask them to maybe get some supplies from the Aether front. So we go do that first, and the Aether front as a dungeon, again, you know, Bears playing patty cake. Dungeon.
I really like Aetherfont. I really like Aetherfont's bosses.
Yes. Holy shit, yes. Oh, like, man, were those like the most interesting dungeon bosses I think we've ever had.
I wouldn't go that far. I still think Tower of Zots, now that you've brought it up, I really think that the Magus Sisters and the Madness is probably my favorite dungeon boss, if I were to think of all of them.
Nah, I mean, Magus Sisters were kind of too predictable to a degree if you played Final Fantasy. Like, you kind of went in knowing what to do. If you were a Final Fantasy fan, like, so how are we going to do this? Who should we take out first? The one who can, you know, res everybody first? Yeah, that'd probably be a good idea. Yeah. So, but this one, first of all, best boss fight, the bear, hands down the fucking bear.
Definitely Volibear. There was a good Volibear rework from League of Legends. Big fan of the second rework they've done for Volibear. But not even so. There's actually one really key detail in the first two bosses that I appreciate. It means nothing, but I appreciate it when games do this. The boss wasn't sitting in the center of the circle staring at us as we walked up to say, "Hey, I'm waiting for you." They actually kind of walk around and just like when you get to the arena, you pull them and then you're in the arena.
Did not notice that.
No, they didn't. They weren't looking at me. Either of them were not looking at me, the first two bosses. Octomammoth doesn't have anywhere else to look, but the first two bosses.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's a really small detail, but I like when a boss that is supposed to be wildlife is wildlife.
Yeah.
So that gets points. But yeah, even there's just that. The first boss isn't anything crazy. It's like pretty standard. The second boss, I think, is very visually and executionally satisfying to do. It's a lot of really small safe spots, a lot of back and forth AoEs.
A lot of movement.
Yeah, it's very animated. Yeah, and Octomammoth is...
And I think that was the theme. That's kind of the theme of like a lot of the fights in this patch. It was like a lot of just movement.
Yeah, it's a lot of like just the space you're given is restricted in some way, and you got to... I mean, that's Final Fantasy 14 in a nutshell, but the pacing of it is important. It's Barbaricha is a good example of that pace kind of being brought up a notch, and I think a lot of people received that. From what I recall, everyone kind of liked Barbaricha for having that kind of faster than 14 pace, but within 14. And Volibear is just faster than dungeon pace more than anything else, but it works. I don't remember his actual name, by the way, He's Follow Bear to me. That's it.
I call him the Golden Compass. That's what I call him.
All right, fair enough. And then Octomammoth also just a decent standard boss. Good use of the half arena. Good use of a Kraken boss that's not annoying, and a classic Final Fantasy IV boss. So good reference.
Yeah.
Can't say Ether Font. Solid dungeon. Definitely better than Troya. I think it was always going to be better than Troya, which is what it replaced.
Yeah.
First boss being.
Well, Troya was decent.
Yeah, but first boss. That first boss though, man. The boss of Troya, the fucking ads. Yeah, nobody I know liked doing that. It was just such a boring such 7 to 8 minutes, depending on how fast you were doing it. So yeah, I'm glad Troya's out of the expert roulette, personally.
Yep.
But yeah, we have that stretch of the story. We go to the Ether Font. We find out how they were going to power the Ragnarok, what their original plan was. We get some tanks. We load them up. We send them to Garlemald. And this is probably the part of the story where most people will disagree on whether or not it was good, because a lot of people do not like the political angles of dealing with Garlemald and their absolute dickheadery.
But we only get this is the first time we really, since the War of Succession, we really get into Garlemald's political view. We haven't really seen anything. We only seen the aftermath of the War of Succession. That's it. And then here we see we've been seeing Tertium for quite a while. We know their living conditions, and then we go up to where the dignitaries are, I guess you could say. And in comparison, their living is kind of posh. They actually have beds, they have desks, they have organization, things that Tertium does not have. And then we get to see their whole putting together a new government, which is good, but at the same time they're clinging to the old ways. They're clinging to their pride.
Yeah, which it looks like we're finally going to be breaking free of a little bit. It kind of reminds me of when we first killed Thornton, and then we had the dickheads who just still wanted the church and all that shit to be in control, and the bloodlines to still be in control and everything. Here, though, they're just way bigger dicks about it. Less violent than the Ishgardians, but way bigger assholes.
They have their Garlean pride.
Yep.
And again, shout out to fucking Euless. Euless for fucking president, by the way.
Yeah, no kidding.
Holy shit. If you want to talk about someone who's grown as a character, prime example number fucking one.
Oh, yeah.
Because I remember when we first met Euless. What a dick just your standard Garlemald dick. And now he's just, he's that boy good. That boy needs he needs office.
The shippers are all about him in Zero, especially after the boot scene.
The handshake.
Yeah. Well, the handshake too, but no, going back a patch, the boots.
The boots.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that just keeps getting stronger and stronger per patch. Yeah, I mean, I felt that way about Euless going back to 6.0 itself. When he just actually talks to Xenos briefly, when he gets that moment of why all this. And then, he kind of just keeps going upward from there. I mean, he kind of starts to have that moment right before Anima starts, tempering everybody as well. But here, it's especially important. And his short story from the anniversary from last year as well is also a good little addition to all of that. So, Euless, I think, is... you know what, though? I will say this. As much as I like having Euless, I was hoping Lucia would get more, given the history that of her lineage and her sister and everything, and what we learned about her back in Heavensward. She's at the forefront of this. She's where it makes the most sense for her to be with the Ilsabard contingent. But I was hoping. Yeah,
but we don't see any after. Yeah, we don't see any after effects with her, or any like her getting any slack for her being part of the Ilsabard contingent.
Yeah, I mean, she just kind of gets oh, I'm part of it, so obviously they don't like me. But it's kind of almost like, even though she makes sense in that role, because she's an ex-Garlean, she was Garlean born, it doesn't really amount to anything. Like, it's just like she's just where it makes sense to be, but it's not doing anything. Or not anything that's like recognized within the story. So that's the only shortcoming I'd say when it comes to the Garleans, is I think they've wasted a bit on Lucia. Personally.
Yeah.
It's just me.
Yeah, I feel the same way.
But thank God Euless is here, because the fucking dickhead Garleans, man, these fucking idiots. Just.
And all it takes is one for one to get attacked by his own war machina for him to see the light.
Yeah, that's just what it is. Yeah, at least he gets there, and I don't have to deal with this, I think, for any more patches outside of the occasional naysayer at this point. I think the dignitaries is kind of where this whole we're gonna be assholes thing kind of, for the most part, comes to an end.
Yeah.
So glad to see that. And now with access to the... what's funny, though, about the Tower of Babel? So in the final role quest, we just march up in there and just fucking deal with it. And then here, we need all this permission. We're turning it back on. It's a bit different. But it's funny to me how, like, I guess different the situations were. They just fucking roll up in there with Fauchenant way back in 6.0. And then from there, we execute Y'shtola's crazy fucking plan. Of course, it's her plan, because she's the one who's trying to get back to her boy Runar, so she wants to be at the forefront of this shit. She might get a chance when we get to talk about the rest of the MSQ soon. She might just get her chance.
Oh, yeah.
She wants to, and we kind of divine this from the trailer, take the ether that is brought to the Tower of Babel and use it to open the portal using the hole in the moon that Zodiark left behind, but also using the seals that were broken to stop any void sent from coming through the other way. So we can go in and they can't get past the hole, basically.
Yeah.
So great that they came up with this plan so quick. Y'shtola is working hard between patches. She's like, listen, we only have like 3 hours of cutscenes, so we really need to make sure we get this shit going. I'll do my research in the meantime.
Again, this whole thing, like you said, is it's a means to an end for Y'shtola. We're helping Vritra in the meantime, but at the same time, she's trying to get back to the first.
Oh yeah, and she even makes mention of it. She's disappointed because she's like, well, we can only go to the 13th like this, so I guess I got to keep trying.
Oh well.
Listen, she's gonna get there. Like I said, next patch. We'll get to that in a bit, but you know, there's a chance for some stuff there.
Yeah.
So when it comes to getting to the 13th, pretty much things unfold as we predicted for the beginning. We get there.
Yes.
We find Azdaia. Azdaia becomes the Shadow Dragon, and we have to fight Golbez. I mean, we got all that down pretty much. Golbez, both. I guess now you've done the extreme trial. It sounds like, yeah.
Yes.
Okay. So yeah, Golbez as both a normal and extreme trial, on the better quality side of this expansion's extreme trials, I feel.
Where would you rank it? Like, now that we have most of the trials, now that we've gotten through, the fiends and everything.
It's interchangeable with Barbaricha. I don't know if I like it more or less than Barbaricha, but she would be at the top prior. So it's tough. It's around that same range though. It's definitely better than Rubicante and Endsinger. Zodiark is fine, but it's just kind of Dorito fight.
Zodiark is not fine. What are you talking about?
Listen, you're just mad because you couldn't jump back then, but now you can. So shut up. They fixed that problem. You're good
wrong.
now.
You're not wrong.
And Hydaelyn was on the upper end. I think Hydaelyn is probably the third best trial in this expansion so far. But yeah, he's up there as one or two. The normal mode's also just really good. Same with Barbaricha. The normal mode just kind of is good, which is it's nice. It's not like I plan on doing it, but it's nice to have a good first impression before going into the extreme, instead of a kind of just like, what the fuck was that, or kind of impression.
Yeah.
Or with Endsinger, we have a good impression of the normal mode, and then the extreme is not good. Opposite problem. Yeah. Very opposite problem. What about you? How did you feel about Bezzy?
It was good. It was good. It was a really, really solid fight. Even in EX, where like once you get it, you really get it. And there's not really a lot to kind of digest. Probably the biggest wall I feel like a lot of people would just go through would probably be, I wouldn't even say like meteors. Well, not the tank meters, but the follow meters. What would I say? Probably the second Gale.
Oh yeah, Gale 2 is the big one.
yeah. Second Gale is like the one where like shit can happen.
It's not. It's at least unlike Double Meteor. It's not an instant wipe. In Double Meteor, if somebody eats shit, then it goes really, really poorly. And a lot of people don't have the common sense to like try to fix it with someone dead. So you kind of just almost always means death in general.
Yeah, and then another one. By the time you get to like second tower, like if someone's dead, you just might as well fucking wall it. Like it can be saved. It can be saved. Like if someone like
you're gonna kill 2 people no matter what.
You're gonna lose a couple of people, but it can be saved, completely saved. But
yeah, I mean, we went in with 2 deaths, and my immediate call out was both the meteors go to the 2 tower because it's the only feasible solution at that point. Right. If anyone's dead, at least one meteor, the support meteor player needs to go into the support tower. It'll kill anyone else in that tower, but you won't instantly wipe, which is really all you care about there.
Or you can use the tank LB for it, which you just shouldn't have to, but yeah.
No, people be tank LB and Gale too because they can't fucking do that shit. I don't blame them. I honestly, we thought about making it our standard strat. We were just like, fuck it, let's just tank LB this shit and then kill it before Gale 3. Because if everyone's alive at the end of Gale 2 and nobody's dead, then honestly, we'll kill it before Gale 3 no matter what. So
will the LB work through enumeration too?
Yeah, I think enumerations do 200,000 and it reduces by 90. Yeah, they will. It's you gotta. I mean, it's 80%, not 90%. It's like an 80% reduction. That's like 40,000 through LB3. Yeah. Cool. Even and tanks can even solo it if they like.
Oh, I'm aware. I'm so aware of that.
Yeah, no, tank LB. The only problem is if you then make it to Gale 3 and you can't do it, it's the same as like Soar with Zervin. If you skip Soar, but then you can't do it later in the fight, then you might as well just fucking done it in the first place.
Exactly.
So, it's silly. But yeah, no, that's no. Golbez was a great trial. I was happy with the guide I managed to get out for that, and looking forward to farming it to 100. I haven't even come close to farming my totems yet. Just way too many other things happening this week for me to even think about it at the moment. Ugh. Beat Golbez, beat him in the trial, and then we get our little look into Zeramis, and this is where they take a bit of, as I like to call them, Final Fantasy XIV liberties with the source material. So for anyone who doesn't want to be spoiled for Final Fantasy IV, sorry, but I'm going to right now. In Final Fantasy IV, Zeramis is actually a Lunarian, someone from the moon, named Zemus, who they kill, and his hatred lives on past his death and becomes its own, like, post-death amalgamation of just invincibility and doom. Here, it's a void scent that he's been making in Zodiark's hole, and he just tosses one last dragon in there to give it a heart, basically, and then now it's a world-busting void scent, a dimension-shattering void scent.
Yep.
And it works quite well. Adds a bit of emotional twist. It gives us the vague impression that maybe Asdaya won't make it out of this. Should probably make it out of this. And it's just a nice little twist on it versus what they could have done otherwise. And also, Golbez surviving another patch, which is welcome as well. I didn't want to see him just go, and then we have this faceless Zeramis thing. I don't know how the fuck he controls that thing, but still. Other than the fact that he just can. You know, he's like, oh, I can control Asdaya, and Asdaya is the heart, so now I just tell this thing what to do.
Yep.
And now we have to deal with Zeramis, who I should have recognized from the trailer. mind you. Even though it looks like a dragon face kind of in the trailer, I forgot that's what Zeramis's face looks like. It actually is pretty close to the original one.
Yeah.
But unfortunately, Sly, us having Zeramis means I think I know how the next patch goes. Because they kind of spoiled it already with something they did in 6.2.
Yep.
Yeah. So for those who forgot, Aloha, what are you yowling at, man? For those who forgot, in 6.2, we've already played this game, but we use the Crystal of Light to shed the Void Set form from Zero and give her the form that we have now. In Final Fantasy IV, Zeramis is unkillable and unattackable until you hit him with a Crystal of Light, and then he becomes his true form and becomes killable. So, that Crystal of Light Y'shtola gave us back in the earlier patches, probably going to be the key to this whole thing. Now, keep in mind, it's not guaranteed because Y'shtola has a different plan. And of course, this is her plan. I'm sure she's very excited about this plan. She wants to take the light from the first and use it to dispel the darkness that Zeramis has on the 13th. Sly, what did I say back when Eden first came out about using the light on the first on the 13th?
Damn, you're asking me to remember that far back.
I feel like
What did you say?
The answer. I said that I originally speculated that the Void Scent, like Erebus and whatnot, that was coming after Eden, was coming after it because of the light. It wasn't. We know that now. But it's like it wrote itself back then, and it writes itself now, pretty much. I hope
so a rejoining without it being an actual rejoining.
It's just taking the opposite sides of the etheric spectrum to then cancel out and make something. I'm not saying we're saving the 13th, but we're using that light to break Zeramis's outer shell, which means Reen and Gaia very likely to be making an appearance in the next MSQ as well.
Graha too.
Graha I would be shocked if Graha's not a part of the next one as well. Yeah.
Because again, we don't, at the end of it, we don't know how long access to the first will retain. So you're talking about like, short little, character interactions and whatnot. Especially with Thancred. Like he said his goodbye, but like, you gotta imagine Thancred would be involved somehow.
Yeah.
If Reen is gonna show.
Yeah. I mean, it's the question is are we just going there as the errand boy, or is Y'shtola looking? Because at this point, I think she wants to use the moons pretty much to travel between. Like I think she sees that possibility on the first as well. So I wouldn't be surprised if we're using the first's moon to send it to the 13th again, because she's figured out how to send things to specifically. That was the big caveat. She says we can only use this to go to the void. Now the reason she uses is because the source has a natural pull on all of the other reflections because it is the source. That being said, just kind of works out. I mean, maybe we're going to the first moon, which means we'll get another. Well, we had a red moon, we have a normal moon. Maybe now we'll have just a bright moon.
Man, if Graha goes, I would love to see the interaction between him and Lena again.
Yeah. Of course, there is
so much
theory number 2, which I don't think will happen, and the main reason I brought up Gaia, in that I know Eden's a little busy fixing the empty, but just saying, Eden's there still technically. It's just a battery for all that shit that's growing out there in the middle of the empty now. But, Eden raid story, I feel like that's, one day.
Connecting to this one?
Here's the thing. I feel like at some point we have another raid story or side story, whether it be the 8-mans or the 24-mans, whatever, connect to the MSQ. I don't think the Crystal Tower is the last time that's going to happen. Just a question of what Eden can do now that it's just kind of stuck in one place. Which is the answer is probably nothing, which is why I'm not banking on that too hard.
Right.
I would like to see it. Aloha. Stop. He just does this. He just wants, you know what he wants now? Remember how I said when I move, I think he'll be fine because the living room and my office are technically the same?
He's not fine.
Now he's in the kitchen. Now he wants me to come sit in the fucking kitchen on the floor and just be there. I can't win. He just wants to be in a room that is a different room than the room that I'm in. And he wants me to follow him to that room. And he complains until I do. Or if I go lay on the bed, he jumps instantly on the bed. And he's like, all right. That's it. Sleeping, buddy. But yeah, I would like to see Eden. I really want Gaia to come back into things, or to actually come into things. So I really want Eden to be tied into the MSQ at some point. But until they give us precedent to believe they'll do it again, it's hard to say.
So, again, solid MSQ.
Yep.
Can't wait to see. Can't wait to see how it ends. And then we get into Panda Express.
Yep. And you know what's weird with Pandemonium?
What's up?
They got through the fights very quickly to give us a metric fuck ton of cutscenes after all the fights were done. Like, there's a cutscene between each of the fights, but they fucking bullet trained us through those to then give us like an hour and a half of cutscenes straight. It's nice. I was glad because I was like, okay, get through all the normals and then I can mute comms and then I don't have to just finish all the story. There's a lot of cutscenes here and a lot of clarifications. Finally getting answers we have waited a very long time for.
Oh, yeah.
And it was, in my opinion, amongst the 8-mans, it's about equal to most of the other stories, I'd say. I see why they called it an epilogue to Endwalker. They treated it as such.
Especially the end.
Yeah, especially the end section. So we've made a lot of headway. So Pandemonium, of course, begins with us heading into the Icabus and trying to figure out, why is this here? And our entry point is of Cocytus is literally just Cocytus. Nothing crazy, nothing special. It's just gathering souls for Pandemonium itself in the live stream. And I guess we'll start with that as we go through the sections and the fights and the cutscenes. We can talk about them. I thought this was an okay first fight. It's, again, one of those, I could see it being fun in Savage. It looks like it has potential to go a couple of ways in Savage.
Yeah.
But most importantly, that fucking song.
Bop. Straight up fucking bop.
Yeah. I love the music for this entire... Now, keep in mind, the best song is from the third fight.
Yeah.
But in terms of new to reprising Pandemonium theme tracks, the other ones are all... Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Delicious. Delicious music. And it's a good thing because all Cocytus does is just eat souls. He just chomps. He just...
Yep.
And then he gets sick and he throws it back up. And that's it. He just moves on with it. How'd you feel about Cocytus?
The aspects, I call them aspects, the spirits, I guess, were a good aspect of the fight. Like having one that was a mage, having one that was a martialist, and then them coming back for another round. That was really good. That was well done. Can't wait to see if the two spirits kind of come together in Savage, because they came in singularly. But what if they come in at the same time? That's what I'm thinking.
See, you went to the mechanics. I went to trying to figure out who the fuck they are, the mage and the martialist, because I guess I refuse to believe we haven't met them before, that they're just souls from the afterlife. It probably it doesn't have to be, but like my instincts tell me to suspect it. And the beast is a behemoth. Beast. We don't give a shit about the beast. Yeah. The beast is just a behemoth. It's a random behemoth soul. There's nothing fancy about that. But the other two, they They make me curious, to say the least.
Yeah. Yep.
So, mechanically, though, I can see a lot of predictions. There's some things in the arena that aren't used. There's pizza slices on the arena that go completely unused. So I expect, much like with Eric Tony, that I will have to pay attention to these pizza slices more.
Mm-hmm.
And then, of course, as you said, the combined souls of having 2 souls at once is very likely, I feel. Very likely. After that, Athena shows her face, as we suspected,
Worse. Well, no. Mom of the year. Mom of the year right here.
No, worst mom of the year. You were right the first time. Well, I don't know why you took it back, but, worst mom of the year. Any reason why you took that back?
I mean, because she's kind of hot.
All right. Listen, you're not going to get in her good graces. She's been taken, man. You can't fix her.
I know.
That's it. No, you can't fix. Yeah, there's a difference between mom of the year and mommy of the year. You need to distinguish between the two of them. Okay.
I can fix her. I can fix her.
No. Chat says red flags need love too. It reminds me of God, I can't remember where I do remember. Yeah, it reminds me of the hot crazy scale.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh God,
chart. Yeah, the hot crazy chart. Yeah. That's what it reminds me of. So yeah, we meet Athena and she is just as batshit crazy as we expect. Yep. She's literally the weird thing is she actually does kind of talk to you like a mother too. Where she's just like, oh, I'm so glad to have you here. Oh, I'm so glad. I'm so excited. It's so nice to have you over. Are you staying for dinner? What's for dinner? You. That's what's for dinner. Yep, that's her. And we learned that she is still doing what we thought. She's trying to obtain godhood. That was what we learned about her in Abyssos. And she had just as batshit crazy of a plan for doing it. Where she essentially had her brain just tucked away in a stone, which we'll talk about in a bit. All her memories in a stone that naturally attracted the descendant of Eric Thonios.
Eric Tony.
Yep.
Yeah.
Which I did predict. I said Claudian looks a lot like Eric Tony. I think he's just him reborn however many years later. And sure fucking enough, that's what happened. He went and he found something he shouldn't have found. And now Athena's inside of Claudian's body.
Yep.
So there you go. That's how we get Athena in the current day. That's how we get Pandemonium in the current day. All that seemed obvious enough. So that's where we go. What I didn't see was how we were going to get Eric, La Habrea, and Themis in the current day. And apparently she can just do that now. That's her thing. She's like, oh, let me just find them in the... There they are. All right, just their memories real quick. Just, here you go. And they're just like...
What the fuck?
What the... Okay.
Oh. And they look over. Oh.
Yeah, so Sly, think about that. That means that if you want Athena, you're also getting Claudian. So is that what you want?
We can put her in somebody else.
No, you can't. That's the whole point of the story, Sly.
We can put her in somebody. We knocked her out of Claudian. We can put her in somebody else.
That's literally not how this works. We have been given us a lore accurate reason as to how that doesn't work. Oh my god. But yeah, so we have both of them back, and they just question the whole thing. They take some time to try to figure out how Athena's even doing all of this, and then of course we gotta save the world. Because Pandemonium's just bad. It can't be here. It's bad. It's bad for the health. For your health. You just got to get rid of it.
So how do we, save the world and maybe save Pandemonium? By fighting. Pandemonium.
Literally.
The
whole castle.
She puts a soul in Pandemonium.
Which I did say last week. I said you can see it's actually the Pandemonium Castle, but like as a spider. Yeah. And I was exactly correct. That's exactly what it was. It was the whole castle with a soul. Leave me alone, phone. Sorry. So yeah, just fight the boss. That's it.
So what did you think of the Pandemonium fight?
That fight is either the best or the worst fight in Savage. I can already see it now. It's either going to be incredibly creative or really fucking bad. And there's going to be no in between.
Yeah, that fight, yeah, that was, that's pretty interesting. I mean, we didn't really have any problems with ours. The only issue I could see, the only issue one is setting up webs and like having them, either close to poles or close to other webs or other people. That's going to be a fuck show in Savage.
It's also going to be mandatory in Savage.
Yeah, the bridges. I felt like we only utilized the left bridge. We didn't.
Oh, then you just got RNG because it's random which bridge you'll have to go across.
Yeah. We only utilized the left bridge. I was like, wait, why aren't we?
You know what we do?
Bridge? Like,
we call that getting Final Fantasy 14, where you just get confirmation biased over and over. So I had that happen in the Golbez Extreme Trial on day one. Every pull, every time it was the point blank flame, we got or we got Eventide Fall every time. And every time it was the other one, we got Eventide Triad on day one. Every single time. In day two, about 6 pulls in, it finally happened the other way. So it took me a day and a half before so I was almost sure, like, oh yeah, the short one's Fall and the donut is Triad. And then finally it didn't happen. Bro, I have the worst luck with that. On God Kefka, we saw the fucking back kick 22 times in a row. And so we never knew there was a front kick until he finally did it and killed us all because we just stopped paying attention there. What a time. Getting Final Fantasy 14. That's what our team calls it. Just confirmation bias to death. Yeah. I think I see how they're going to do the bridges in Savage.
No poison?
No, the tanks are going to have to take the poison to cross over to do it. I think those are tank platforms more than anything else. I'm pretty sure the tanks are going to be on those platforms.
But it honestly, it looks like there's space for 4 people. So what I'm seeing is
light
like
parties too. Yeah, but 2 different bridges.
Yeah, something like Leviathan, something like Leviathan, like smokers.
Interesting thing. The side parts. They're as many tiles as the arena itself, so you can take a knockback from those and go from the front to the back, and survive, I suppose.
Yeah.
So that's another thing. So yeah, I think we'll be seeing split. Then that actually makes that the biggest surprise about P10. The amount of healing required was a lot higher for a normal mode than I expected, and I think almost all the healers that I've seen, they're just like, oh, it hit. It's still hitting. Stop. He hits like 10 times in a row and then does the one big one on top of it.
The knockback.
Yeah. So I think that was a big surprise to a lot of people. And if you're split into 2 light parties during that, your healing's essentially cut in half. So I think there's again, that's what I mean. I see a lot of things that should mean an actually interesting fight. I think you're going to have to web the back. So there's 2 pillars in the back that are just kind of pointless in normal mode. I think you're going to have to make a web to catch people so they don't go flying off from the knockback.
Yeah, webs would stop your movement, like knockback wise, I guess. Yeah, I could see that.
Yeah, what's really interesting is that you can do it in the middle. So what we were thinking is there's, I think, 4 like rows of tiles. The front row is going to belong to the tanks, and they're going to need a web there to stop their knockback, which will probably be further because they're the ones taking the knockback first. And then every other player needs to be slightly behind it, and they need the one in the back of the room. So, and then I think the idea is you'll all stop somewhere in the back of the room. So I do think we're going to have to make the webs like cross over and use them in the slow that they do in order to actually take that, which means players need to get webbed, which means they take damage over time, which means there's a whole lot of damage and mit that actually goes on there. So yeah, I think there's going to be a lot of shenanigans like that. Again, I think it could be a really good second fight, but it could also do none of these things and be a total letdown. And I've set myself up for it to potentially be that. Or what if you connect all 4 of them on the inside and it just makes one giant spider web? Like something actually in the back of the room that catches the player and not just like the line AoE. I'm not saying connect the diagonal slot. I mean, yeah, I guess it makes sense. I realize that's what you do. I mean, maybe they set it up that way where you can set, it's not out of reason that they can make it connect the diagonals with some of the patterns, but still.
Yeah.
I'm just saying, yeah, that's there you go. That's another one. I'm just saying those are things that are on my
because I was like really just picturing it out in my head. I'm like just drawing every web and then the poles and
yeah. And then you have to make sure you don't cross them, because then it limits the space you can do any other mechanic too, because if you break it early, you won't have it for the mechanic you need it for. So like the tanks can now only do shit in the front 2 rows and the rest of the party can only do it in the back 3 rows or whatever it is.
Yeah.
So, yeah, there's all sorts of stuff. Yeah, there's again, a lot of potential. I really liked the normal mode, which is not rare, but I've also learned not to hope. I like the normal mode for 6 as well. That amounted to fuck all. I also like the normal mode for 7. Sometimes life is cruel. Sometimes it is.
Yeah.
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 Always great. No. We killed the Pandemonium Castle. And one big thing, before we even killed Pandemonium, Themis just walks up to us and he's just like, hey, I'm here.
Howdy, I'm here.
Yeah. And we learned that Athena did the same thing with him that she did with Eric and Laha, except that she's actually like influencing his will. Like she's using her powers to make him do her bidding. So he's like, oh yeah, I don't agree with her, but I'm like compelled. I literally can't do it. Like I'm telling you, like
we're eventually gonna fight. Just letting you know. So just go ahead and be prepared for that. You know,
there's nothing I can do to stop it. I'm being completely controlled, but I can tell you that I'm being completely controlled. So fucking kill me. Hurry up. He tells us that before Pandemonium, and then after Pandemonium, when we're having the discussion with Eric, Tony, and Laha Brea, they essentially say the same thing. They're like, no, you kind of have to do it. Maybe you can help him.
Yeah.
Maybe you can help him. They do say that. But at the same time, they're just like, I mean, you got to do what you got to do.
Yep.
And then we do. And
hold on. Before that, like, I completely forgot. Like, I forgot 2 things. One, this was actually Ellentill.
Yeah.
Completely forgot that fact.
Oh, you forgot from the last time we did Pandemonium?
Yeah.
It's pretty important.
And then he talks. I'm like, that place doesn't make sense. Oh, yeah, now it does. Holy fuck, it is Ellentill. Yeah, okay. Okay, cool.
It has been like 9 months since we've been in Pandemonium again.
Yeah. So we're fighting Ellentill.
Yep.
Great.
Again,
and
we're fighting
this
Themis.
We're fighting Ellentill. I'm sorry if I hear this voice. I'm hearing whatchamacallit. The other fight.
Warrior of Light.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, this fight. Usually the third fight's a wall, and I don't see
that happening with this one.
No, I can't. Like, because
yeah, I kind of feel the same way.
Yeah, it's like
not a bad way either.
Not like, again, it's a solid fight in terms of like everything that happens, but like difficulty wise, I just don't see it fucking happening.
For me, it's because it reminds me too much of Fatebreaker. That's the only reason. It reminds me of Thanjeet / Dad Cred / Hibachi / Horror. You know, so that's it. Like I'm not. I do think I know what they're gonna do with the Savage. That's going to make it very distinct from it. But my instinct tells me that having done that fight will greatly improve the ability to do this fight.
Yeah.
Which I think, given how Tree went with, there was almost no transferable skill between any other fight and Tree, as far as I was concerned. It was very much you had to learn the saplings and the layouts and the possibilities. Like there's a lot of just figuring out stuff that's very specific to that fight. This fight, and not in a bad way, feels like a fight I've already figured out once before. In normal mode, at least. But I think the big thing is going to be there's going to be light and dark debuffs the whole fight.
I wouldn't say the whole fight. I think there'll be like
the whole fight. I mean, I literally
don't think you'll even have like a pause in between, like either that or you switch debuffs?
Oh, that's what I think it's literally going to be. You get assigned light or dark for like long periods of time. And there's gonna be new light and darks, but like so there's a lot of mechanics that happen that are light or dark specific, and they come from the boss. But even the boss's tank buster has a light spear and a dark spear on each of the tanks. I think it's literally just going to be a game of equilibrium. It's going to be like Fire and Ice from Nail, where you take too many fires, you instantly die. You take too many ices, you instantly die. So if there's an attack coming up,
like the moon from
moon from Tsukiyomi. Yeah, it's literally just like you go too far in one direction and you die. So it's like if the tank with the light debuff gets hit by the light one, he dies, and maybe the light one always targets the off tank. So you need to tank swap there in that case. If I'm a DPS and I just got hit with, and the boss is doing a dark AoE, I need to make sure I get hit by something with light before that to make sure that I don't go too far. And then I think
this is sounding a little bit like Excalibur too.
Kind of. Yeah, I mean that's another fight where it's the same thing. The fire and ice thing from Excalibur is another nail example from Deep Legend. And then I just think that's going to be the primary theme. I don't think the theme is going to be he's doing in then out, or he's doing, expanding AoE, like the stuff that looks like E11. I don't think that's the theme of the fight. I think the dark and light debuffs are going to be the theme of the fight. Yeah, and I also, Styx also has light and dark AoEs in it. I think there's going to be light party and a dark party that split that. Light party 1, light party 2 with flexes like Shiva, like Shiva's Akmorns, I suppose, and stuff like that. So yeah, I think that's the primary theme. And that makes sense because Ellentill is literally, his role is balance. Like I know it gets kind of fucked up when we meet him, but yeah, his role is literally about preserving balance. So yeah, it all makes sense. And he even yells it at you the whole time. He's like, balance the elements or some shit like that. So that's what I think. And again, I really hope this is a good one because P7 was not good. I think P3 was great, personally. I know the orange upsets people, but I can't see colors, so fuck you. But P7, no, that wasn't good. We need something good after P7 for a third fight, please. Don't shake your head at me like that.
I actually prefer P7 over P3. I couldn't stand P3, but I just fucking hate hegemony in general.
Hegemony is 6, not 3.
Wait. I'm getting
3 is Asphodelos Phoenix. 7 is the tree. 7 is Agdistis. It's the tree.
Oh yeah, Agdistis. Yeah.
Do you still prefer 7 over 3? Because
yes,
it's okay. We're all wrong occasionally, Sly. It's fine. Do you prefer Agdistis because it doesn't require any, like, it's just I can just roll through this and I don't care because it is like that kind of fight. Yeah.
Yeah.
Good uptime on tree. Yeah, the hitbox is pretty forgiving on tree as well compared to Phoenix. Yeah, I guess, if uptime is your thing, then yeah, we might like tree better than Phoenix.
Of course I would.
It's only 90% of the arena, yeah. Oh man, I would like a good third fight after the last one, which was bad, much like Shatter, but it's fine.
I haven't even gone into this.
Yeah, you haven't even gone into the new Shatter, Mister. I love Shatter, huh?
I'm going today.
Is today a day? Oh yeah, today is the day for Shatter because it's the roulette changes per day. I know the map changes, so
yeah.
I don't know what day it is. For I think Shatter was Tuesday though, so I have no idea what today's is though. Either way, so we and this music by the way, so I want to say something about this. Something that upset me, Sly.
What's up?
Made me very upset. In fact, I might be able to find the comment. Oh no, you know what? It was in my Twitch chat, so I can't find a comment.
Okay.
Well, it was one that said, "I can't believe how lazy Soken is getting." With the themes for Pandemonium. Because they used the Pandemonium motif and the Amarot motif. That's certainly a take of some kind, I suppose. And I was so not pleased with it. That person didn't stick around because they didn't survive the railing they received within moments.
I mean, who is this person? I mean, I just want to talk. I mean, I just want to talk. Like I just want to talk to him. I just want to talk. I just want to talk. I just want to talk. Like, who is this person? Again, just a casual conversation. Just a conversation. Just want to talk.
Yeah. This was my favorite theme of the ones we've heard so far, and I'll elaborate on that later. Of the themes we've heard so far, and it's nice because it's very upbeat compared to the Edge, which is very dire and then the original Amarot one, which is very melancholic. This one's very upbeat because Ellentill is honestly, he doesn't want to fight us, but at the same time he's like, I'm actually kind of looking forward to this. He just actually wants to have a fun fight. He just has no control over
that was his desire. That was his driving desire, just to fight us.
Which is like the whole point of the story, which we haven't even gotten into yet because it's kind of all dumped on you after you deal with Athena. Or actually, it's more like after this and then like as you deal with Athena. So because after this is where we learn about we have more questions about Orosite. And some of the quests in between La Habrea was inquiring with the researchers who were scared the shit of him, by the way. Knowing who he would become, they were scared shitless of La Habrea. He inquires about Orosite and, of course, the Heart of Sabik as a piece of black Orosite. And we learn that the Heart of Sabik is indeed black Orosite and thus does the same things that the Orosites from the Evil East do because that's where they're from. Yeah.
When you got the question prompts, did you ask about the High Seraph? Because I did too.
Yes,
that was my question.
That is only available if you've done the Evil East quests. That option. Yeah. So yeah, I had to do that one. And yeah, it does actually. Before we even get into it, way later, if you didn't do this, after you finish all of the story quests, if you talk to Claudian again, you can ask him about the High Seraph if you've done Evil East as well for a bonus cutscene.
That I haven't done yet. I'm going to do that.
It's a quick like 2-3 minute bonus cutscene that talks a little bit about the connection between Ultima the High Seraph and the Heart of Sabik, and I guess just everything in general. But then, and trust me, I have something to say about that too. Something else that we need to talk about a little bit later. But yeah, essentially we learn through all of this that that's how Pandemonium came back in the first place. Athena's memories were stored in the Heart of Sabik. So when La Habrea is using it against us, he's in some way essentially using Athena against us all the way back in Ultima Weapon and everything. And it's worth mentioning that even Pandemonium as a castle casts Ultima. Like that's its AoE, is just Ultima. And then we're dealing with even bigger Ultima in the 12th fight, which was a nice little treat. So yeah, we essentially got our answer finally after all these years. What is the Heart of Sabik? It is black Orosite with the memories of Athena stored away in them. It gets, apparently it's sort of, this was the missing piece. We didn't actually know what happened to it after Ultima Weapon. And apparently he kept it. La Habrea preserved it and brought it to the Etherochemical Research Facility, which it was then left in because he died. He was killed by Thornton.
Yeah.
And Claudian goes and finds it, and then Athena possesses him, and then he turns the Aetherochemical Research Facility, she turns ARF, into Pandemonium and brings it to the Ethereal Sea.
That is a long play.
That is a 12,000 year long play.
Yeah.
So that's what that Orosite was specifically for. Because we knew it was Orosite before. That's why the researcher just said, yeah, hardest to beat was Black Orosite. We learned we learned that before. But we learned specifically that it held Athena's memories in it. What's not 100% certain is how Athena gets it. Because that's kind of the one thing left in the air. We have to assume, because as you brought up the option, it's given to her by Ultima the High Seraph. But they also conclude that Ultima the High Seraph is probably not from the star. It's probably from another planet or dimension or something. It's otherworldly. So either now you get the it's from another shard question, or the 13th is another question as well, because we know they had Orosite on the 13th. Like, that's one of the big problems they had over on the 13th.
So the others, they're otherworldly as well.
Yeah.
Ones we fought.
Yeah. So that's the big thing, is now the question is this a matter of dimension hopping or is this a matter of planet hopping? Is the question that comes to mind from the Orosite. Because Orosite is very clearly not from, or is not native to even the Elpis. It's from Aetheris, because this is from before the Sundering that she had this stone. So it's not like the 13th had, but the 13th clearly is where the Orosite was kind of funneled. Like it was the kind of like the thing that accelerated all of the 13th's falling. So, yeah, that's the big question, is did she tear open a dimensional wall in her research? Did it fall to the planet like Omega did? Did Omega accidentally bring that shit with him from one of the planets that he conquered? It's like, it's just fucking COVID. He just brought it with him and it's just fucking sticking around now.
So I'm wondering where Famfrit and everybody else came from then.
There's other Orosites. Well, I think the running theory was that Ultima, based on the Evilise raids, that Ultima was responsible for all of them. All of the Orosite. Yeah, it wouldn't have come from Omega. I don't know why I said Omega. He's from the Allegan era. But all the same.
Yeah.
I was just thinking otherworldly. So yeah. That's it. There's some other mystery that's kind of laid open that is not fully explained. Even though we've dealt with Ultima the High Seraph already, we still don't fully understand where she came from with the Orisa. It's still a somewhat open-ended question of her origins. And that is a future expansion. Not 7.0, but a future expansion. Oh, man. Yeah, and they did something else with the hardest to beat I'm very mad about. Very mad.
What?
Claudian, like, I'm going to research this. I'm like, give me the fucking stone. Give me the fucking stone right now. Do not, Claudian, give me the fucking
I think I should
stone.
hold on to this.
Let me have the stone. You shouldn't have it. It doesn't make any sense for me to let you hold on to this. Yeah. But so we get the majority of those answers we get before the end. Some of the things we just went over we get at the end. But we, of course, deal with our final boss in normal mode, and that of Theos, technically. That's the form that Athena takes for her godhood. And once again, solid fight.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's it.
We just have to picture what second phase will be like.
And Sly, we don't have to picture that much. Do you remember what I said back in P8S about predictions based on orchestrion rolls? there was an orchestrion role available the week before Savage in the list called White Stone Black, which we knew was not Embers, which belonged to P8S, or belonged to P8 normal. So we didn't. White Stone Black was assumed to be Heart of Sabik because it's Black Orosite. We have the name for Phase 2's music already because it is once again in the orchestrion. Do you know what the Phase 2 theme is, Sly?
I do not.
An Endwalker remix of Ultima's Perfection from the Evilise raid. So we have somewhat of an I guarantee you it's probably not exactly what we're expecting, but that being the theme is fairly telling. That's her ascent to godhood, is essentially, I guess, becoming some sort of reincarnation of Ultima the High Seraph. Or at least it would presume to be so.
I wonder if she's going to make you run the little maze again.
The little fucking maze. Oh my god.
Yeah.
I wouldn't be surprised to see some of the other espers pop up again just because of Orosite and everything. Yeah. So whether it's a Phase 2 or a door boss, which it'll probably be a door boss. I'll be shocked if it's not a door boss. That's what we're dealing with prediction wise. Is just there's something involving Ultima the High Seraph. And you know what? No one's surprised by that, really, especially because of two things. In the Athena fight, her ultimate attack is Ultima the High Seraph's Ultima. It's the same exact animation as the one from the 24-man. And also, as a fun little tidbit, she says the thing. From the deepest pits of the seven hells to the very pinnacle of the heavens. And now we know why La Brea was saying it. Oh, man. To hear that line all those years later. The only other place we've heard that line in all these years? We didn't hear it, but we've seen it mentioned a lot.
Where?
Hildebrand. He says it so much. He always says from the deepest pits of the seven hells to the very pinnacle of the heavens. It's the only other place.
Where?
All the time. He said it like 3 times this expansion already. He says it a lot.
That line.
He says it a lot. I think he just said it in point 3s again, too. He just pulls it out of his back pocket all the time.
So now that we know what we know, do you think Hildy, next Hildy or any Hildy after will make any reference to Pandemonium?
I would love, not to Pandemonium, I would love if we had like an Evolution Hildebrand adventure. I'm just saying. Yeah, honestly, Pandemonium's face does kind of look like Dr. Lugay's face with the goggle. Actually, no, it reminds me of Mr. Freeze from the old Batman movies. Just like with the goggles on the face of Pandemonium. He's got well, not even from the cartoon actually. It's more from the cartoon. But yeah, he reminds me of Freeze more than anyone else. It is time for you to chill out. You know what killed the dinosaurs? The Ice Age. And now all the quotes are coming back. Anyway, again, solid fight, good reference, and we have our prediction for Phase 2 / everything else there. And then we get like an hour of lore dumps. Most of the stuff we just went over, fortunately. So.
Yep.
And Claudian still has that fucking stuff. Claudian, give me the rock. You shouldn't have the rock, Claudian. If that motherfucking rock comes back into play again, I'm going to be so... They left it in his hands just so they could bring it back later. They had the ability to bring it back later. I don't trust that man. He says, I'm just going to research it. I'm just going to keep researching it. I'm like, give me the rock. He says, it's devoid of memories. I don't care. Give me the rock.
What did you think of the final scene, the very final scene, fully voiced, which I thought did this justice, honestly.
Yeah, this is one of those cases where it needed to be voice acted, and it was. Granted, I would have preferred the entirety of the tier to be voice acted.
Everybody's going to say that, but this is a different scenario, different scene. Like, it has weight to it. Whereas, like, well, I'm not going to say that nothing within Pandemonium had weight to it, but out of everything, this did.
You know what? There is. So the Ellentill being voiced for the entirety of the final scene. First of all, the final scene, that is the reason it's the epilogue. More than the scene of La Habrea in Pandemonium actually explaining why the La Habrea we meet is fucking crazy amongst the problem with Athena. Like, all that shit explains why La Habrea is crazy. We have the definitive answer as to what happens and what goes wrong. But with Ellentill, it's different because it's like, he sends us away to Elpis, and then he's like, oh, wait. Like, he has that moment where he kind of realizes what he was supposed to do and, like, why it was the right thing to do. And he remembers seeing us in Elpis. And this is closure on that, specifically. So he gets to be, like, himself and fully complete and all of that stuff. And it's a good send-off because he is the final he's the final Ascian that we didn't have a bit of closure towards.
Yeah.
And the only thing that's kind of strange is the interpretation of the very final scene. So after he says he remembers the Crystal Tower, he remembers, somewhere in his subconscious that he must have met us in the past to send us back to Elpis in the first place. They do a scene with him at the edge of existence, essentially, where he's like underwater and he's just like finally like slipping into the afterlife. And he says like 3 or 4 things, and all of them are confusing. Because he talks about how, because we won, we get to write the future, something Emmett Selk said as well. But then he shows some genuine concern over the future of the planet. And then he sees a light, and the scene ends, which is largely interpreted as him being born in another body. Essentially, his ether, becoming another person, being born anew. I just want to know, what did he say? I also like to interpret it as the thing that he says right before he disappears on the Crystal Tower. The about the sunrise or whatever it was. Yeah. But what does this man see now at the edge of existence that makes him concerned?
We'll find out later in 9.0.
Yeah, 9.0. We didn't even touch on, when we talked about MSQ, the several 7.0 teasers that they dropped in there.
Yeah, that little meeting
with Erenville.
Orion J.
Yeah. Well, that too.
Orion
I was
J
thinking
about.
Erenville being like, I have a personal matter to attend to, and Krile finding
The
a letter.
homecoming.
Yeah.
No, yeah, about Erenville's homecoming. I mean, he's just going back to the woods.
Kryle's smash invite. Yeah. That was good. Yeah, the Kryle smash invite. That was so funny. Yeah. And needing archons. Yeah, so there's a whole bunch of stuff that just kind of gets dropped in one scene that doesn't say anything definitively, but it showcases that one of the 2 areas is already under consideration. And I can't help but feel like I don't know, Erenville, I guess that's the problem. Him going back to the woods seems to imply something evolution, because if he's he's a Viera, one would assume that he was born in the woods, out in Evilise.
Yeah.
So there's it's question. I still think Marasidia and New World both. I think we're sticking to the double location thing, where we're going to two different places. But I'd love to actually go to Dalmasca proper. It's just they'd have to require Evilise done, because that place is it's kind of fucked up. It's a little fucked up. Gabranta's still alive too, so he's always someone to play a potential role. There's all sorts of stuff.
We're not revisiting that.
No, I don't think we are.
There's no way in hell. Yeah.
Yeah. I think that's hard dropped until they get Matsuno back. They left he faked his death most likely out there and just moved on. But you never know. Maybe Matsuno's planning on coming back. You don't know. Maybe he's gonna do it. Maybe he's the scenario writer. If he's the scenario writer, I'm not gonna lie, I'd be a little afraid because he is very verbose, and I don't think a lot of people are gonna like that. Oh man. So yeah, I'm gonna hold true to my predictions of Mara City and the New World both, and I'm gonna assume that Smash invite is for something in the New World. And little we find out the New World is where Smash is. Perfect. The one that pissed me off the most, someone said, "Oh, that's her invite to join the Xanark and Abes." I was like, I fucking hate all of you so much. I hate it. I hate you all so much. I saw that. I was so mad when I saw that. And then Cryle's gonna be the new Blitzball class. That's I was like, I fucking hate all of you so much. God.
She gets trained by Waka.
Fucking hate all of you.
Let's go.
Yeah, Kryle's being invited to as the ball, not as a member of the team.
Boo.
Oh man. Yeah. But yeah, no, Pandemonium sounds off. I was really glad to have the end of this go the way it was. I was glad it was voiced, and overall, I'm pretty content with the way Pandemonium went from beginning to end. I didn't really feel like it had a slow part. And also, again, so I mentioned earlier there was another scene I wanted to have voiced. Yo, when La Habrea does this, I was like, yo, I wish he was voiced right. My man with the swag like it's nothing. Just here's the other half of my mask. I'm gonna burn you. That's it. He was donezo right there.
She survived.
It was a warning.
Yeah.
More than anything else, it was a warning. But his crazy instantly turns on. And you're like, yep, that's it. This is the La Habrea that we see eventually. So
yeah.
He literally burns out Athena's influence is the big thing that he does. Like he's literally like untempering her to some capacity. Yeah, he burn out
the bad. Oh God, again, but yeah, a really good close on a lot of the stuff that we've been experiencing for the last 10 years. How do they top this?
I don't ever think it's about topping. I don't like thinking about
but we're
that.
always going to compare. Like, we have 10 years of content to compare to. Like,
yeah, but at the same time, like, for some people, Endwalker's not as good as Shadowbringers. Some people don't like Heavens. Like, that's the thing. It's like, I don't ever think about this topping the thing before it. I just want it to be entertaining as a whole. Like, I've enjoyed the Endwalker MSQ. I've enjoyed Zero. I've enjoyed this little, like, Void thing that we've been doing, finishing... kind of rounding out the dragons and the missing ones, like getting to that finally has been exciting.
Yeah,
I've enjoyed all of these different aspects to it. So for me, that's all that matters is that we continue to expand the world and that what we do in said places I enjoy.
Yeah.
So
again, I'm kind of looking forward to seeing, because again, once we finish with Golbez and with Zeramis, there's nothing that could possibly connect to it save, who Urion J and Thancred were talking about and Krau's Smash invite. Like, that's like completely separate stuff that'll probably lead to something bigger on its own.
Yeah.
But, I'm just waiting to see what happens after Golbez.
I mean, the big question is Zeramis able to bring down the wall between dimensions? Because if he can, that opens up the shard travel, which then brings a lot of questions in. That's the thing we don't know, because the whole point of Zeramis is to invade the source with it. He essentially wants to take over the source so everyone on the 13th can go there and die. Like, they can have life back, which probably doesn't work. In all honesty, probably doesn't work that way as he thinks it does, but I do wonder what the capacity of Zeramis actually is on that front. And on top of that, Another thing we kind of glanced over is that Golbez is not Golbez.
Yeah.
He's Durante, who is wearing his brother Golbez's armor. And I wonder if that's supposed to be like, maybe Durante is like his name, and then they do the thing where they're like, oh, but in Baron they called me Cecil. Like, like that's my name is Durante, but the other knights had another name for me. Like, I'm wondering if that's the route they're gonna go, because I was wondering, like, everyone was wondering, why is Golbez using a sword? He's a fucking mage, and then they're like, well, yeah, Golbez is a mage, and then the other person is a swordsman who's taken up his armor. So, I don't know. I just want to see those are the things I'm paying attention to. So,
and all of a sudden, out of nowhere, Fusoya.
Yeah, we'll see. We'll see.
Yeah.
Is there anything else? I mean, like I said, I would love to talk about Tataru, but I know you haven't done it yet.
Yeah, I gotta go do that. Can't wait. Can't wait.
Yeah. No, it's very good. It's not very long. Not that the other ones are long, but you know.
The other ones weren't long.
No.
Either, but yeah.
Yeah. And I think that largely covers the majority. And then there was just all the other things, you know, like they added the adventure plates and quality of life stuff that we covered in the patch notes. Black Mage's buff being on crack, another thing. That was the thing. We didn't get to talk about job changes last week because they weren't in the patch notes. But man,
Getting another fucking True North? What?
Every Dragoon I know has been very thrilled about Dragon Sight. But if anyone thinks that positionals are surviving till the next expansion, you're the one on fucking crack. I'm convinced they're going.
Like, every positional is just gone.
Yeah.
And in 7.0,
That's yeah.
Okay.
I don't even think anything takes its place. Like, I don't think they use it to open up new gameplay. I just think they're gone. Yeah. But no, the Black Mages, the Black Mage buffs are fucking stupid. They're like, I cannot, I think I know why. And I believe Svi said this, but it was right now, the main reason why you would run Black Mage is often to take a melee position spot and not as the soul caster. And for that, it was underpowered. That's like the only feasible reason to have done it. Like, it's shocking otherwise. Because they just gave them so much damage. That's the only reason, Sly. Nothing else makes sense, because the job is cracked out now. They're like, oh, they don't have a raise. Raise tax. Let's bring the raise tax back, but let's just increase Black Mage's DPS instead of decreasing Red Mage and Summoner. That's it. That's all it is. So yeah, that job's cracked out. I was shocked. No Fizz range potency buffs at all. I was beside myself. I couldn't believe it. I think that was the biggest shock of the whole thing. And you know what? Just fucking deal with it, I guess. Just dance the night away. Woohoo. There you go. Oh, Black Mage buffs. Guess what? That's a buff to me. I guess I'll just have to take that in stride. It feels like that's what they do with Fizz range. They're like, they buff the Bard and Dancer buff the other ones. So just buff the other ones, and now they're stronger too. I was like, I hate you. I hate you so much. But yeah, I think that covers the majority of everything.
Yeah. Real quick. Collective Unconscious. Like, they... How do you buff... Like, this might have been just like a visual thing, but how do you buff the length of it, and it still, looks pretty much the same?
It does. You know what? I felt the same way. Like, when I look at Asylum and Sacred Soil, The initial pop is large. The bubble reapplication. Oh, the initial pop. That's what it is. It's only the initial application. I was trying to remember exactly because I was gonna say because the big thing is they made the defense thing like it actually stays for the entire time now. It's like even when you step like it used to stay out for a few seconds. Now it like keeps its duration. Like when you go out. Yeah. Because most people literally just do this and then put it away. They don't, and they try to time it so that like 5-second window with the buff is applicable. So yeah. Yeah, but there's a little wait. Honestly, I think the most hilarious thing is Caracole on Sage. That shit looks like it's stretching out into the fucking like sky. It's it's scary, the animation for Caracole with how large it is. It's just this like bubble that pulses super fast, super far out. Oh my god, it's frightening. Oh man, it stretches until Ultima Thule. Yeah. But yeah, no, other than that though, it's a lot of little things. I haven't messed around with the Island Sanctuary stuff yet with the minions, but you know, not like there's much to say about that. It is what they described it is. The only thing is that they still don't keep making the pen bigger, but they keep adding new monsters to put in the pen, which is awkward considering how many rare monsters there are and how many pen spaces there are for your monsters on the island. So, oh, that's the other thing. The PvP Frontline Daily Roulette is like 1,500 Series EXP per like day, without including the actual first, second, or third place. Like that's just on the roulette bonus. So it's pretty enormous if you're just looking to get that done. So enjoy your series. Yeah. So, but with that, no, I think now it's everything. Now that's everything that I really wanted to touch upon. No ocean fishing. No ocean fishing. No ocean fishing. So glad. And no blitzball. I'm winning. I'm winning by everyone else losing. I love it. Losers. All right. But unless there's anything else, Sly, I think we're good to wrap this show up.
Yeah, I think we are. Covered pretty much everything.
Yeah. All right. Well, with that then, Sly, it has been a pleasure. Next week, we may or may not have a show, depending on whether or not I'm done with the raid by then. Safe to assume no, but...
You did predict a 2-day raid.
I predicted the first group would be done in 2 days. That doesn't mean I'll be done in 2 days. I'd like to be done by Thursday, but, you know, Friday's total possibility as well. So, I mean, who knows what could happen in Prague? You know, the raid tiers have been pretty fucking wild the last 3 patches between Ultimates and Savages.
Yep.
So who fucking knows?
Wonder what drama we're going to get this fucking raid tier, man.
This one's just going to be a repeat of third-party stuff. I guarantee it.
Yeah.
That's going to be it. Yep. But yeah, with that is going to be a wrap for this week's episode of State of the Realm. Thank you again to our sponsors over on Patreon for supporting, and of course, Steel Series and Advanced GG. Appreciate all y'all, but remember, everything's always available for free. So if you enjoy the show, be sure to pop on over to the YouTube, like it, comment, interact, join us live Fridays at noon Pacific whenever we do have a show. And yeah, appreciate all y'all tuning in. Sly, what you got going on, pal?
Well, you can find me at twitch.tv/Sly, aka Gray Fox. You can find me on Twitter at Sly the Fox. Right now, currently just enjoying patch 6.4. Doing all the rest of the stuff, and then, of course, if anyone else needs it, got discounts. And Sly's 18-hour drive-through pawn and gun, auto parts, alchemical, adult gift, bait, tackle, discount, cigarette outlet. In case you need your crafted sets for the Savage next week. So come on down. We got the good prices. We got. Well, come see your boy. Other than that, just doing a lot of 6.4 stuff. I gotta get ready for fucking Diablo because I am actually playing Diablo.
Nice.
Yeah, first time ever playing Diablo. First time ever.
Are you jumping into 4 right away? Or you're gonna play 3 at all this week?
Nope. Jumping into 4.
That's gonna be fun.
So
I've heard ups and downs about things from the tests, but we'll see how the full, like when you're going past level fucking 20 or whatever it is.
yeah, we'll see.
It's always that. Hi, Ivy.
Yeah. And then what about you, good sir?
Well, first thing I'm doing is I'm petting Ivy.
Yes.
As she doth demand it. This is a very normal thing for me. So this has become probably the most normal thing for me in terms of daily activities, is just cuddling Ivy. And when I'm done cuddling Ivy, you can find me at Mr. Happy 1227 everywhere. This Monday, I finally got to start posting about Final Fantasy. Get your ass out of my face. Final Fantasy 16. So
I don't know that Final Fantasy.
Yeah, Final Fantasy. Get your ass out of my face. Yeah, that's my favorite one. Yeah, and so I started finally being able to post about my hands-on experience with Final Fantasy 16 on Monday, and I've continued to post news and updates, and then there was a new trailer. It's just I've been trying to balance doing both 14 and 16 stuff all week, and it's led to like 2 to 3 videos a day being worked on, and that is going to continue to be the case today. Tuesday, I'll be doing Savage all day, 12 to 16 hours a day, depending on how people are feeling and energy levels and stuff until clear.
Yeah.
So hopefully we'll have that done ASAP. I am going to LA next month to the the live event for Final Fantasy 16 as well. So I'll be gone for a day or two, and then of course 16's release is on June 22nd. So I'm putting Diablo aside. Like I kind of wanted to play Diablo 4, but I'm just gonna put it aside. I can't even be asked right now.
Dude, at least you're streaming 16. I am taking a week off.
Not a bad idea.
Play 16. So I'll be here. I just won't be, on Twitch.
Yeah, you'll just be watching. Don't worry. I'm sure that I will get very far ahead of most people who could be watching and then finish it and then play it again. Because I just put out a video yesterday about the end game content for 16 that we got information from Game Informer. And I sure do love Devil May Cry. That's all I'll say.
Clive must die.
I was going to call it that, but that's not what it's called. It's Ultimaniac. Ultimaniac mode. Yeah. So that's going to be a fun one. Final Fantasy mode and Ultimaniac mode. Those are the two big ones that I'm looking forward to. Plus, whatever side quest hunts bonus. Like, they're probably going to be bonus content in the game before you even increase the difficulty. So, fuck.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, but that's going to be a wrap for us today. I'm going to do a very short post show. I have a lot to take care of this afternoon. And then tomorrow I'm going to finish up Lightning Return, start World of Final Fantasy, and then 6.4. Roll right through. All right. Yeah. Sounds good. All right. Well, thanks everyone for joining us. We're going to go into a short post show, and I will see you, on Tuesday, but not for State of the Realm, most likely next week. Maybe. We'll see. Either way, y'all enjoy your weekend. So, bye on YouTube. But the post show is I'm ending the show. Yeah.
See you soon, everyone.